Right. Hilario, how are you doing, my friend? Let me know how everything sounds. I feel like the music's a little too loud, but I know you guys will let me know. Gotcha, appreciate it. Awesome, awesome. All right. I know this angle's a bit weird, but we'll give it a little bit, see who rolls in, and then we'll get started. Excuse me. Yeah, so you're probably seeing something in chat where it talks about the new top fans now. That should be pretty cool. Yep. So the more people communicate in chat, you kind of sit on top of the leaderboard. I don't know how it works, like if you just keep getting recognized or anything, but this is the first stream since they've initiated that, so I'm definitely excited to see how it works. Maybe what I'll do is I'll keep track, and then at the end of the stream, or I'll do some kind of, I don't know, I'll do something special for the top the top people in chat for sure. Yo, what's going on, dude? How you doing? Yeah, should be an exciting opening for sure. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm interested to see how this goes. Obviously, got the play booster. As much as I wish this was the collector booster, I don't have $1,500 for 12 packs. But yeah, it's a collab I never thought I would see. And I know I'm a little late to the party, but it should be fun. Plus, I've got Alex from /frag in the chat who's going to help kind of not only moderate, but he's going to help me, point out some things. Maybe average status will show up. Yeah. So we'll give a couple minutes, see if anyone else trickles in, but I'll probably start off with the big announcement. So that should be fun. And then we'll get into opening the booster box, or maybe I'll talk about it as we're going along, of course. But yeah, like I said, maybe another minute or two, we'll get started. Again, we're going to open up this entire Magic the Gathering Cross Final Fantasy booster box of the play boosters. So it should be pretty fun. Like Kevin mentions on here, it's like this box was sealed with shrink wrap bearing the official Wizards of the Coast logo, which, as you can see, is all over the front. So this is official. I know there's some people that ask me where I got it from. As soon as I open this and I know it's legit, I'll drop the link in Discord so you guys can go pick up your own or pick up some other products. But just give me one sec. So they are, I'll mention this real quick. They're doing leaderboards now in the chat, as you guys can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep track of that, and at the end of the stream, I'll make notes of who the top, the top viewers in chat. Maybe that's a better way to word it. And I'll try and work on, giving you guys something, or kind of, I don't know, maybe some kind of giveaway or something for the top chatters. But yeah, I'll be right back. Hold on. Definitely share the link. Let's get some more people in here, though. That'd be sick. All right. I don't feel like waiting anymore. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? WakoBako here. Welcome to another Final Fantasy Friday. As you can see here, this one's a little bit different. There we go. There's a Final Fantasy we know and love. Obviously, this is probably one of the biggest collabs that Magic has done. I won't say ever, but maybe in the recent history of Magic the Gathering. But yes, this is the Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy set. These are the play boosters. I want to try and get some of the collector boosters, but they're honestly just way too expensive. It is kind of unfortunate that there's only certain cards you can get, or you can only get from the collect boosters, but I'll get some eventually, and we'll have fun going through that. As you guys see by the title, and I kind of broadcast on Instagram a little bit if you came over from there, but I do have some huge news. So I finally got a new job. And full disclosure, before I tell you guys where I'm working, everything I say about this company and my take on all that, it's just me speaking, right? Like, I'm not a public affairs rep for the company. I'm not speaking on behalf of the company, right? Like typical disclosure stuff, right? Like, and if you have issues with the company, that's fine. Bring it up with their human resource office, or any of their other, avenues to report anything, their customer service, so on and so forth. I'm just an employee now, which is still kind of crazy to think after all this time. But without further ado, I am now one of the latest and greatest employees of... Man, I wish I had something to show. I do. Hold on. So maybe this will better explain who I work for now. Yes, that's correct. I'm going to get in nice and close. I am the latest and greatest employee over at CGC. Now, the actual parent company is CCG, right? So it's Certified Collectors Group, and then all the subsidiaries that fall under that, like CGC, and all the other. There's like 6 or 7 different sub branches from that. But yeah, obviously I work directly for CGC. I do work for the cards department, and specifically, my job title for CGC is I am a grader, which it's kind of crazy. As you guys know, I've done a lot of business with CGC in the past, close to 50 submissions, right? A mix between personal collection stuff and stuff for the eBay store. And some of you kind of got the hint why I was taking stuff down on the eBay store leading up to this announcement. This was actually my first week at CGC. And I vetted through them, so they're cool with me talking about this. Obviously, there's some stuff I can't disclose, and I wouldn't ever disclose it, right? I treat it like the military. There's stuff you can talk about, and there's stuff you can't. But yeah, I'm super excited. It's been an awesome week. It went by so fast. Yeah, I'm just going to leave this here for a second for anyone else that pops in. But yeah, so before I left for my trip to North Carolina, they had posted a bunch of jobs, and I applied for almost all of them. I got a phone call like the next day asking if I wanted to do the phone interview. It went really, really well. And they're like, well, hey, I was already planning on coming up there to pick up a submission. So they said, hey, why don't you just come up and do the in-person interview? So I cleaned myself up a little bit, went up to their headquarters, and I interviewed for 5 different positions. And it was supposed to be about a half hour, maybe 45-minute interview. It turned into almost an hour and a half. I'm just kind of talking about my knowledge, what my strengths are, where my weaknesses are, what I enjoy. The one thing I thought was really cool was, they talked about, have I ever done business with the company before? And I pulled up my account and kind of just showed them all my CGC submissions. So obviously they have a good understanding of, my self-grading beforehand, right? So yeah, I am one of the newest employees of CCG. Obviously, the branch above, or the parent company, if you will, of CGC. But if anything, I'll do just like updates, or like I'll talk about cool stuff that I looked at. Obviously, I can't talk about any of the processes. I'm obviously still learning all that. But again, it's going to be very discreet. I don't want to ruin this opportunity by any means. But yeah, it's very exciting. It's I'm still surprised it's actually happening. And it's almost like a perfect job for me, especially for those of you that know me and you've guys seen how many, you can look through on the channel, right? All the CGC submissions, all the stuff I've done. And they've even shouted me out a bunch of times, right? So it's just this weird, like, perfect circle where it just, yeah. But I'm really excited to get into it. Obviously did a lot of training this week and trying to go through some stuff and learn a bunch of different TCGs outside of Pokemon. So, yeah, next week we're going to, kick up the training even more and get more and more into it. But like I said, I'll give you guys updates as we go along, and I'll talk about kind of like a weekly recap. Yeah, you're not going to hear from me for sure. Again, I'm not trying to ruin this opportunity. Funny enough, though, they're still hiring, right? They definitely need more people. So, and again, this isn't me talking on behalf of CGC. It's just me as an employee. If you're interested, go on their website. There's a bunch of positions to apply for. They don't have, at least in my knowledge, they don't have any remote positions, so you'd have to come and work in one of the facilities. But, I mean, even going through the orientation, they're such a good company. They really care about their employees. All the benefits are awesome. So, yeah, if it's something you're interested in, reach out to me. I'll try and help you out or, like, navigate, the website and how everything works. But without further ado, right, so that's the big announcement. I'll probably post something on Instagram talking about it as well. For like the 2 people over there that actually pay attention. But without further ado, let's get into this. 15 minutes in, and we're finally going to start. All right, Magic the Gathering. So one thing that's one of my weaker suits is Magic the Gathering. I had like random cards when I was a kid, and it was never something I got into. I always thought it was overly complicated, even though a bunch of my friends have always played. You know, it's so funny. I sit in Discord chat a lot with the guys from /frag when they're playing Magic the Gathering. Oh my goodness, I need a trash bag. Terrible planning. Yeah, hold that thought for just a second. Hold on, you guys get the look. Here, I'll open this up for you so you get to see. Ooh, there you go. You guys can scan that and let me know how that works, but I'll be right back. All right. Now we're properly set up. Man, it's been a while. All right, here we go. Was there anything cool on this? Did anyone scan this QR code? Yeah, there's a good bit about Magic the Gathering. I probably won't play, but as you guys know, I'm obviously a collector more than anything else. So here we go. First look. And yes, I have opened up a few of these. If you guys check out /frag's content, when we were playing some Mario, Paper Mario, actually, we opened up some of these play boosters. So yeah. How many are in here, by the way? Let's take a look and see. Does it say? I don't think it actually says how many are in this box. Alex, what do you think? 30? 36 maybe? Maybe less? There's probably less than 36 in here, right? I mean, we're going to take them out and we're going to look, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, so 30 packs. Nice. And as you guys know, like usual, I'm going to shuffle all these around because that's just how my brain works. Yeah, so 30 packs in total. I'll move these up. And then I'm just going to do one of these and kind of just pull as we go. Do a random order. And again, I don't know how these are seated, if they are at all, but I'm just mixing them around. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's a new stack there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. All right. Let's see what we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, and the rest. So, and even with help of you know, some of the guys over in Discord, I know the set list has been out for forever. I know there's money cards. I didn't really look into any of that stuff, to be completely honest with you guys. So I'm going to do it like usual. I'll leave a stack here. I'll put the other two away here. And obviously I'm going to look into all that stuff after the fact. Again, I do know that there's cards in this, or I'm sorry, in the collector's packs that I can't get in here, but it is what it is. Again, first look, first look on this channel. I only opened up 2 other packs prior, so forgive me. All right, here we go. Kind of excited, especially because I don't know. Well, I mean, I do know a little bit, but I don't say I understand or comprehend it. Again, I watch the guys from /frag play it, and it's just a lot going on. So here we go. I know there's these cool little art series things on the back. So, Alex, if you're still here, I just take this off and get started, right? Like I can just flip this over. Let's take a look and see what this is, though. Obviously, there's a bunch of different ones there. That's actually really, really sick. I wonder if you can grade these. That would be awesome. All right, so, yep, just get right into it. Excuse me. I'm going to move these up to the top here. As we get a bunch of different ones, obviously, we'll look through them. But here we go. And again, heavily inspired Final Fantasy set, and it's from a bunch of different Final Fantasies. So as you can see on the bottom here, this one is from Final Fantasy 4. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, Final Fantasy 4. And yeah, so on that bottom left corner, for those of you that aren't familiar with Magic like myself, that C means that this is a common. And then the set name underneath, that FIN, and then English, right? So if it was in a different language, you know, so on and so forth. All right, but let's see what we got here. So we got good old Chocobo to start us off. Dreams of Laguna. I'll probably say some of the names, right? And then, you know, as we see some of the more exciting stuff, we'll take a minute on that. Well, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Not necessarily yet. I mean, I am officially a grader, right? That is my job title now, which is kind of sick. But expert by no means, right? I'm still learning. There's plenty of room to grow. And my favorite thing about it is there's always something new, right? Like they even asked me, I said, you know, do you think it's going to get mundane or you're going to get bored? I don't think so, because there's new stuff hitting my desk every single day. Like, speaking of Magic, my first experience really learning about Magic since I got there, I got to put hands on and go through alpha and beta cards. Like the literal first 2 iterations of the Magic the Gathering, you know, whole, you know, trading card game, which was insane. But again, I have a lot to learn from all the different TCGs, right? Like, I'm very familiar with Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Final Fantasy, of course, but there's so many other TCGs and non-sports card stuff. I'll probably even learn some of the sports card stuff at some point in time. But again, feel free to ask questions. Exactly what an expert would say. I hear you. Feel free to ask questions throughout the stream, guys. And again, I can only answer so much. I'm just going to tell you about my experiences so far. But all right, the Lore Prite. This is from Final Fantasy 14, as you see on the bottom. This does feel like a regular Final Fantasy opening, right? I'm talking about the different cards and the different sets. So we get good old Overkill, Titus there from Final Fantasy 10. I'm going to try and keep these sorted a certain way. So obviously you have your commons, uncommons. I think the top rarity is Mythic, if I remember correctly. Good old Freya as an uncommon from Final Fantasy 9. That one's actually sick. The battle menu, I like that. That's sick. Attack, ability, magic, and items. That's so iconic. And again, there's so many cards in here. I know I'm going to appreciate the art, but it's just cool that they did something like that, right? Where it brings Final Fantasy into this universe in probably the most proper way you could do it. All right, so here's the rare. And obviously you can tell by this little gold diamond here, that's, you know, it's increasing in rarity. Plus you see the emblem there. Good old Master Matoya. She's been in other Final Fantasies, but this iteration is from Final Fantasy 14. Make sure I'm putting everything in order. Obviously, you guys know I have OCD, so I'm going to keep adjusting this as we go along. But let's see what else is behind this. So it looks like another rare. Nice. Another Final Fantasy 14 character, which is great for me because that's one of my favorite games. Let's see what's behind that. All right, so the U, I'm assuming that's ultra rare, right? Right? That makes sense. Somebody help me out here. And it is from Final Fantasy X, which is sick. But, you know, let's just take a look and we'll figure this out together. 3, 2, 1. But there's a U there, though. What is that? Because I know normally mythics, right? Oh, unless it's just a hollow uncommon. That would make sense, right? I don't know why I'm thinking... I have to stop thinking Pokemon related, because as soon as I saw it, I thought ultra rare, but it's probably just a hollow common. Or a hollow uncommon, rather. Anyway, let's see what we got. Ooh, Summon Anima. Okay, yeah, so it is just like a hollow uncommon. Again, Anima, one of the most powerful summons in Final Fantasy X, let alone all the different iterations. So L, see, this was going to throw out. This is going to break my brain, but keep chiming in if you guys are looking into what all the different rarities are. Oh, land. Obviously, duh. So dumb. This is how sad it is that I don't know Magic. Like, obviously, L's are going to stand for land. And that's it. And again, good old backs. Commons, uncommons, rares, and mythics. Obviously, your lands. Gotcha. All right, cool. So it's just me being dumb. All right, so all the hollows. I do have sleeves off to the side. I don't know if I'm going to sleeve anything up just yet. I'll probably keep all the lands down over here on the side. But there's our first taste. Good old Final Fantasy. I'm impressed with a lot of the artwork so far. I know with some of the like the secret layer stuff, it's kind of just Final Fantasy layered over their traditional like cards, right? Same thing they did when SpongeBob had a secret layer set, and now they're gonna do Sonic next. It's gonna be insane. Right, so I'm trying to think of where I want to. I'm trying to keep organized here. Move these off to the side. I'm just gonna put this here for all the hollows, and then obviously if we get higher rarities, we'll move this out of the way. But yeah. So first take. All right, guys. No, I'm kidding. I just end the stream right there. Like, all right, well, see you later. All right, next. It's so weird because the pack's open from the other side too, which that's kind of breaking my brain. I got to keep track of this too, right? So that's 38. We have 15, so there's 53 of these. I doubt we'll see all of them, obviously, but let's see which one this is. Ooh, these are sick. I'm honestly gonna ask when I go to work next if this is stuff that they grade. Because even if it doesn't grade super high, like I would love to just have all these, especially like for just the art behind it. I'm just gonna stack these up, guys. We'll go through these a little bit later and recap them, but yeah, it's just gonna take up too much space. All right, good old Namazu, dude. I'm telling you what, this is so heavy in Final Fantasy 14 already, and I get it. It's one of the main and biggest Final Fantasies currently running. But it's just funny to see how many, right? Final Fantasy 11 gets some action too. Nice. We got Preesh. We get the Queequer Merchant, another one from Final Fantasy 11. It bled over into Final Fantasy 14. We get the Slash of Light. There's the Warrior of Light right there. Definitely looks like he's fighting Zora Arc. Yeah, maybe even X-Death. I don't know if I can say that word, but I don't care. Good old Red Mage Rapier. The instant ramen. So for those of you that don't know, Square Enix did a collaboration with, I want to say it was Morchan or the Instant Noodle Company. So in Final Fantasy 15, you can actually get a cup of instant noodles, and you do like a whole little mini quest line for it. It's absolutely hilarious, but it's sick to see this as a card. That's awesome. All right, we get the Sahagins. These are from Final Fantasy 14. Very, very cool beast tribe there. Travel the Overworld. Final Fantasy 5. That's sick. I've been playing a lot of Expedition 33, and the Overworld is just almost perfect. If you haven't played Expedition 33, whether you like RPGs or not, I can't recommend that game enough. It instantly became like top 5, if not top 3 RPGs for me. It's one of the best turn-based RPGs that's ever been created, and don't take that lightly when I say it. You guys know how big of a fan of Final Fantasy I am. But even when Square Enix tweets out and they post like official like documents from the CEO saying that, you know, we're impressed with this very small dev team, which if you guys didn't know, I know I'm talking about a different game while we're looking at Final Fantasy stuff, but the devs from Expedition 33 were about 30 to 33 devs, conveniently enough, that got let go from Ubisoft and stood up this amazing company and made one of the best games of the year, hands down, probably one of the best games of the decade. And it really shook everyone else that makes RPGs, whether they're traditional turn-based or action combat. You're going to see a lot of innovation now. It is absolutely an amazing game. All right, so here's our rare. Enough talking about that. I would love to stream Expedition 33, but I've already put like 120 hours into it. So unless you guys want to see me play like New Game Plus or a higher difficulty, kind of missed out on that. But anyway, Raban, another character from Final Fantasy 14. He tragically loses his arm early in the story. And then another uncommon. All right, so we get the good old Colosseum Behemoth, and our land should be behind it, which it is. Nice. All right, Final Fantasy 5 land, and that's cool too. So like all the different lands, they're going to be different environments from all these other Final Fantasy games, which is sick. But yeah, again, I'm getting excited about random stuff here. Yeah, the art's absolutely amazing for sure. Why? Oh, hold on. Is this one of the? Okay, so you're gonna have to explain this one, dude, because this is one of those double-sided cards, right? Where you get like a wizard and you flip it over. It's one of the token cards, right? And you get a hero. which that character's from Final Fantasy 14. They're running around in the city-state called Limsa Lominsa. So it's a token. Gotcha. Whenever you cast non-creature spells, this token deals 1 damage to each opponent. Okay. I guess that's pretty sick, right? That's definitely going to be usable. And you can see the little crest there. It's got the little Final Fantasy crescent right there, so that's pretty sick. Tokens. I'll put it down over here so we have our token cards. Okay, gotcha. Good to know. Appreciate you. It's good to have someone in stream that knows stuff about Magic, because I clearly don't. But it's all right. Again, I truly appreciate it. All right, let's get into it. Got a lot of packs to get through. I'm probably not going to say every single thing unless it's something crazy like this, like the Gubu Gardener. Gubus were iconic from Final Fantasy 11, made even better. Only what Joey saw. Yeah, Joey's definitely the expert for sure. Scorpion Sentinel, nice. Made famous from Final Fantasy 7. Very, very early fight in that game. Ooh, another summon. We get the good old Chocomog. So you get the best of 2 worlds, right? You get the Chocobo and the Moogle, which some games they call them Mogs, or Moogle Mogs. But yeah, really, really cool summon. The Item Shopkeeper, again, very traditional, right? It's in every RPG and every Final Fantasy forever. Vane's Treachery, all right, Final Fantasy 12. Very, very nice. Ooh. Was that Syncopate? That is, oh my goodness, Seymour from Final Fantasy 10. There we go. I know my Final Fantasies, don't question me. Magitech Armor, iconic from Final Fantasy 6. Literally, like, the opening cutscene is a bunch of the characters on Magitech Armor. Also, if you guys weren't aware, this year is the anniversary to Final Fantasy 9. It's been rumored for forever that this was going to be the year that 9's going to get a remake or a remaster. And Square has held out, and they haven't officially announced anything yet. But there's been a bunch of merch drops. There's been a bunch of stuff that's come out. So maybe we'll finally see that. Even if it's not a complete remaster, or I'm sorry, not a complete remake, a remaster would be fine for me. Dark Knight's Greatsword. God, that's so sick. And I know the lighting's not perfect here, but the artwork in these cards are just absolutely insane. Valkyrie Aerial Unit. Side quest, Hunt the Mark. So this actually started from Final Fantasy 12, where they introduced the hunt system, where you would go to town, you go to the bulletin board or the mark board, and you grab like a little side quest to track down and hunt this enemy. You hunt it down, you get an item, and then you get a reward. This carried into Final Fantasy 14 so perfectly. Like, they did it such an homage to Final Fantasy 12. And it's just such an awesome system. Ooh, okay. So there's an M. We do have a mythic here. I don't know how many we're going to see. I don't know which one's crazier than the other. I know there's full arts and stuff in here, but yeah, so that M in that bottom left means it's a mythic. It's also from Final Fantasy 6. So let's take a look and see what we got in 3, 2, 1. Ooh, okay. That actually looks sick. Good old Go-Go, Master of Mimicry. Now, again, I know there's a bunch of different styles to this. In terms of, like, there's full arts, and then there's, like, holographic versions of these. So I'm assuming this is a good pull. Again, it's a mythic, so it's not a common or uncommon, so I'll take it. I'm definitely going to sleeve this up. Again, I don't know anything about the value. And I'm assuming, especially with, you know, it being out for a little bit, the price is obviously going to fluctuate. But let's lift this up. It does look like a full art, though. And again, I know there's like holo versions of the full arts as well. But yeah, first mythic. There we go. Good old Go-Go. I'll gladly take that. Right behind it, we get the Dragoon's Wyvern. Very, very sick. So in Final Fantasy 11, the Job Dragoon, you actually got to get a pet dragon, also known as Wyverns. Very, very sick. So you still get, that's cool. So you still get a holo on the tail end, and then the land from Final Fantasy 15, just the big old open road there. That's sick. All right. Yeah, I'm definitely liking this for sure. And again, I don't know how massive that hit was, if that was something absolutely crazy or not. A lot of it is like Pokemon, where if something's extremely playable, obviously it's going to have value. Let's flip this over. Ooh, that looks so sick. Good old Titus and Luna from Final Fantasy, or not Luna, sorry, Yuna. I almost said Lulu. We get Yuna. That looks absolutely amazing for sure. You know, I'm gonna sleeve those up. And again, I don't know if I can grade them. I mean, I'm assuming you can right there, official Magic the Gathering cards. But let me sleeve these up real quick. I want to keep these protected for the time being until I figure out what I can do with them. All right, let me move these around. Put that over there. Card sleeves, here we go. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. And again, for a little insert card, they do a damn good job, right? I'd rather have that than a code card any day. Could you imagine if Pokemon did that? Where they actually just had like random insert cards like that was just like beautiful artwork. But, you know what I mean? Beggars, yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Can't beg for it. Obviously, we're not going to get it. Anyway. All right, move these up and over here. All right, let's see what this pack's got for us. This is absolutely amazing, for sure. All right, let's see what we got. So we got Wyvern, or the Dragoon's Wyvern, and you see the Dragoon right there, rocking good old artifact armor. We get the Gale Cat, which when they first introduced this in Final Fantasy XIV, everyone's like, okay, cool, it looks like a bat. And then as you get closer, because it's a small creature, you literally hear it meow, and everyone just started losing their minds. It's literally a cat that's fabricated its own wings. So, yeah. Pretty cool. Obviously, this originated from very early games, but I was just speaking about a certain iteration. The Suplex, iconic. Very, very iconic Final Fantasy here. So, this character here is notorious. Right. So this character is notorious for literally suplexing a train. Yes, I will say again, he suplexes a train. During the game, you fight what they call the Ghost Train or the Phantom Train, and you could use one of his abilities, which is Suplex, and it just looks crazy because, like, on normal creatures, obviously, you know, you're suplexing an animal or, you know, some kind of weird, you know, monster. No, he gets to actually play out the animation where he suplexes a train. Man, this stream's going to be hours long because I could talk about this stuff all day long. All right, starting to see some repeats here. Obviously, we're going to keep rolling. Just stop at some of the newer ones, like Black Waltz number 3. Now, in terms of black mages, right, everyone really knows Vivi. But the Black Waltz community is like a hierarchy of mages, especially black mages. Black Waltz number 3 is like the top tier pinnacle. It even says that they're legendary creature. They are no joke when it comes to mages. They know all the top tier magic. And most of the Black Waltz number 3s, they don't cast like, oh, I'm going to cast fire. No, they're going to cast like Fire Aga every single time. Like whatever the most top tier magic they can use, they're going to cast it, and they're devastating. So all the games where you interact with them, they're some of the scariest enemies to fight. All right, Radia's. Wow, I said that really weird. It's Rida's, or Radia, however you want to pronounce it. Return from Final Fantasy 9. No, what is that? Final Fantasy. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. That's Final Fantasy 4. Sorry. The numbers, Mason. What do they mean? Renoa, she's from Final Fantasy 8, looking absolutely amazing. So something else to keep in mind. The other big significance about this set is that they not only took Magic the Gathering illustrators and had them reiterate or reimagine Final Fantasy characters, but they took iconic Final Fantasy illustrators like the one said Amano. I think Tetsuya Nomura is tied into this as well. But they took their character design and their art pieces and put them on Magic cards, which I think that's the proper way to do it. But it is sick to see Magic the Gathering illustrators do Final Fantasy art. Obviously, it's something we've never seen before, and I'm pretty impressed so far, so I can't complain. All right, good old Garland, Knight of Cornea. There is a rare. We get good old Ishgard. That's so insane. So Ishgard is iconic for Final Fantasy XIV because when 1.0 came out, this was just a tower out in the distance. And there was a bridge that literally led up to it. And you can walk on the bridge and you would see this massive tower and this castle in the distance. But it wasn't accessible. And everyone was like, oh, is it going to become content? Or what's going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. And then the game re-releases with A Realm Reborn. And then the first expansion comes out. And we find out that this is an accessible place. Like, you go to Ishgard, you get to experience something that's been in the game for years at that point. It was just absolutely insane. All right, so the rares go here. All right, stuck in Summoner's Sanctum. Very, very iconic. A lot of the different summoners from Final Fantasy X that you get to interact with. But that is a holo, or like a reverse holo, right? You guys can think about it that way, as a common. And then we get another land there. We get the Baron. You got like a split energy thing, or a split element there, if you will. Again, I know it sounds stupid talking about magic stuff, because I don't know much about this so far. But this is fun. I'm having a good time. Hopefully you are as well. All right, we got our lands over here. Again, trying to stay organized here. We'll probably just fan out all these holos, and then as we get a whole bunch, gotcha. Appreciate you. Yeah, I got to pick up the pace a little bit. Obviously, as we start seeing more and more of these, ooh, another token. So we get the knight on this side, and we get the hero on that side. Okay, that's sick. As we start seeing more and more of these cards, guys, obviously we'll start picking up the pace. Good old Sabo Tender. It's like a different iteration of the Cactar. Sabo Tenders are vicious. And I know there's some crazy cards in this set specifically that they can do massive damage. And the Dire Rat, of course. Chocobo Kick. Very, very iconic move anytime you have the Chocobo Companion. Even in Final Fantasy XIV, right, you can have it on like attack, defend, or heal. The second you put on attack, your Chocobo is just kicking the shit out of everybody. Yeah, it's hilarious. Dreams of Laguna, the Magitech Infantry, sorry. Looks absolutely insane. Magitech is played into a whole bunch of different Final Fantasies. I want to say as early as Final Fantasy VI, and then obviously this one's from Final Fantasy 15. But yeah, multiple iterations of Magitech. Just think of it as, you know, machines, any kind of mechs, robots. That's what's classed as Magitech, right? It's just some kind of machine infused with magic, if that's an easier way for you to think about it. The Grand Pulse Olcho, that looks sick, from Final Fantasy 13. Grand Pulse is the first main area in a very linear Final Fantasy where it's just open world. Like, you explore this massive field. There are some environment changes, but yeah, the Ochos are definitely no joke there. All right, we get the Sahagins again. Ooh, Sahagins. Ooh. All right, so we get a rare here. Ooh, that looks sick. To the Crystal Tower. Wow, from Final Fantasy III. Crystal Tower has been reiterated on. It's been in so many different Final Fantasies. Wait, were all those commons leading up to that? That's insane. Yeah, that looks absolutely amazing. And again, even in Final Fantasy XIV, the Crystal Tower is a crucial part of multiple storylines throughout the massive campaign that game has through all the expansions. Yeah, so instant, choose two. So you either get to counter a target spell, return target permanent to its owner's hand. That's actually sick. Tap all creatures your opponent currently controls, or draw a card. I mean, honestly, I again, knowing nothing about Magic, I'd say probably the two biggest ones are probably return a target to the owner's hand, and then you draw a card. Obviously, I don't know, but I'm assuming that would be a good play. All right, so that's so weird that that's in the middle, right? And then we have our uncommons. Good old Tifa doing her limit break. Oh, and that's so sick. Oh my God, guys. So this actually shows all her different limit breaks, right? So Somersault, then you have Meteor Strikes, and then Final Heaven. Oh my goodness. And it's so funny because in that picture, it looks like she's doing the dolphin kick, which is funny because obviously they put that move on here. But yeah, either dolphin kick or somersault. I know those are kind of interchangeable, but that's awesome that they list all of them right there. So here's our uncommons. We get Garatia. He is kind of the ambassador of the Crystal Towers. Or Tower, sorry. Good old Tonberry. These guys are so intimidating, even though they're literally the slowest creatures in all of Final Fantasy lore. You don't want to get close to this guy. You see that knife? Yeah, they call him Stabby Stabby for a reason. These things are extremely vicious. In a lot of Final Fantasy games, if you encounter like the higher end Tonberries, it's literally a one-shot. Like, And a lot of its moves are just creeping towards you, and then your turn, and then it creeps towards you, and it creeps towards you. So if you don't defeat it by the time it gets close to you, it's going to take out one of your party members easily. We get the, oh my goodness, so many characters. This is insane. So this is Stiltskin from, it's obviously a Moogle merchant from Final Fantasy IX. That is our rare. And there's our reverse or our hollow behind it. Good old Preesh again. And our land is the forest. So that's the other thing I learned about too, right? So like, obviously with lands, there's so many different iterations of lands. But even in the alpha and beta sets, when the dialogue was much more dumbed down, like you didn't have all this, what they call flavor text, right? Where like, this is the forest, but it's a basic land forest. It would literally just said like the forest and it had an image. And some of them were different. So in terms of like databasing and cataloging it, you know, you see 3 or 4 different lands and you're like, well, okay, well, which one is it? And you got to try to narrow it down. We get another token here. We get the bird. Obviously, that's a chocobo. They shouldn't just put a bird. Obviously, it has a name. Come on now. Ooh, and the hero. That one looks sick. So this is one of the female bunny characters from Final Fantasy XIV. It would be sick to grade one of these tokens, right? Because in theory, they're grading what would traditionally be the front and back of a card, but now you're grading, in theory, 2 different cards. Man, this got me excited for sure. All right, let's see what we got. So we got the Blazing Bomb, really cool creature throughout all of the Final Fantasies. Good old Fight On, right? Pretty much healing. Return 2 your target creatures from your graveyard to your hand. That's got to be pretty playable. Final Fantasy, what is that? Final Fantasy 7, obviously. You got Tifa and Aerith there. Glacial Greens, it's like the main food source for all the chocobos. It's actually what you use to summon chocobos in some of the games, so that's absolutely sick. You got the Magic Damper. Target creature you control gets +1/+1, and you gain hexproof until the end of your turn. Sure, someone explain that. It sounds pretty awesome. We get the Gale Cat again. Avengers Airship. Airships are huge in all the Final Fantasies, even the very early ones. You get to travel on them. Ooh, Laughing Mad. You get good old Kefka. That clearly looks like after Kefka's been defeated. Kefka is probably one of the best villains in all the Final Fantasies. And then you have Ultros, which the name fits it perfectly. He is definitely an obnoxious octopus. He has a counterpart, or a partner in crime, if you will, that they're both just, it's comedic, but they're meant to be villains. But every time they come into play, they just get dumped on, or they're never taken serious. Dragoon's Lance, absolutely beautiful card there. We get the Behemoth once again. We get Gaiat, the King of the Dwarves. This is actually a class that has been heavily talked about that needs to come to Final Fantasy XIV. Obviously, it's the MMO version, but there are dwarves and dwarven-like characters throughout the game as NPCs, but we don't have like a dwarven class. Dwarvens are notorious for using hammers and mauls. And that's something that we're lacking, so that'd be kind of sick to see. All right, so we got another rare. Ooh, good old Clive's Hideaway. Obviously, Clive is the latest and greatest protagonist from Final Fantasy 16. Still working my way through it. I know I'm kind of ashamed, you know, talk all this crap about being such a big Final Fantasy guy. I haven't even finished the latest and greatest, but I will. And then I get back to Remake and Rebirth. So, yeah, it's on the agenda for sure. Ooh, Light of Judgment, Final Fantasy 6. Looks absolutely amazing there. And again, even for these commons, uncommons, rares, you know, these reverses, or I'm assuming what these would be hollows, they still look absolutely amazing. And then our land, right? You get Insomnia, good old Crown City from Final Fantasy 15. Very, very iconic venue. All right, and we're rolling. Again, like I said, as we see more and more, there's another iteration of the Chocobo. As we see more and more of these, obviously, I'll try to pick up the pace. If I'm dragging out too long, please remind me, right? I don't want to eat up too much of your time, even though I could literally talk about Final Fantasy for forever. But here we go. Ooh, the good old Airmen. These things are super creepy. I actually have a mount of this specific creature in Final Fantasy 14. It's super cool because like you kind of sit on the back of his head. Yeah, super creepy character there. All right, we get the T-Rexorus or T-Rexor. Yeah. Yeah, that thing looks absolutely insane. And you got, what was that, Final Fantasy VIII? Yeah, so you have Squall there, kind of fighting a giant T-Rex. We get the Dragoon's Wyvern, Gale Cat, Suplex again. Again, every time I see it, it's just hilarious. We get the world map, which is kind of sick. Nice artifact card there. Monk's Fist. Super excited to see this because Monk is my favorite class / job throughout all the Final Fantasy universe, if you will. And there's been a lot of iconic monks throughout all of Final Fantasy. But it's just such a fun class to play. Nothing better than just punching your enemies to death. Ooh. Reach the Horizon. Obviously, that looks like a scene from the Final Fantasy VII Remake or Rebirth. Let's move these. Probably going to start consolidating some of these hollows down here just to make room. Let me just do it now while I'm talking about it. Again, we'll recap all this stuff, right? We're not even through the first stack yet. We get Eject. That's pretty cool. Aerith just getting booted for sure. Dragoon and Ninja. Absolutely amazing. Very good classes and jobs for sure. Yeah, big Monk fan. I like Red Mages. There's so many, just so many iconic jobs throughout all of it. I like Puppet Master. Beast Master's pretty sick as well. Blue Mage or any kind of like job that takes enemy skills is always fun. Good old X-Death there. He's the Void Warlock. Very, very iconic villain from Final Fantasy V. Here's our rare. Speaking about pseudo-villains, good old Jecht. Yeah, he's a reluctant guardian. So, Final Fantasy X, he was a quote-unquote the world's best blitzball player. If you don't know what blitzball is, just start questioning yourself. Do some research. Come on. But anyway, Titus, the main protagonist, absolutely hates his father, does not get along with him. He feels like he abandoned the family, but he didn't know that. He ended up becoming a guardian for a different summoner and went on this huge long quest just like his son was about to go on. Ooh, good old Iron Giant. That looks absolutely sick. This one's from Final Fantasy 15. And we get our land Windurst. That's so sick. This is one of the main city states from Final Fantasy 11. Man, so many memories going to Windurst. I know my kid brother, he started there. I would always start in Bastock. Obviously, Sandoria is another one of the main city states. And they're all drastically different. But it's so sick seeing that. I miss playing Final Fantasy 11 so much. And it still has a following for sure. I mean, they're well over 20 years in. Very similar to World of Warcraft, right, where the game's just still going. But yeah, there's still a community for it. With how much I play other stuff, and it's what I call a traditional MMO, where it's tough, like, and you really have to learn how to play it, and it's very unforgiving at times. But it's what got me into MMOs. I played for 7 years, and I've been playing Final Fantasy 14 since 2010. So yeah, if it wasn't for 11, we wouldn't have 14, of course. All right, we get another token. It's a treasure. Ooh, and then we get a different hero on the back. That is, oh my goodness. What character is that? It's not a specific character, but it's, the race of this character is called Aura. They're Dragonkin, which is actually kind of sick. All right, here we go. Again, we're going to start seeing some repeats here. Obviously, I'm assuming this is a pretty big set because we're still seeing new stuff here. We get Commune with Beavers, sure. Cornered by Black Mages. Yeah, that's one of the last things in the whole Final Fantasy universe you want to be cornered by. The Ice Flan. A Flan are just this gooey, gross kind of creature, but there's all the different element types you can think of, and then you just put Flan behind it. What's going on, Roscoe? How we doing? Yeah, finally getting into some Final Fantasy / Magic the Gathering. All right, the good old Coral, another iconic leopard-style creature. Some of the games you get it as a mount. Call the Chocobo Mountain. So as you can see here, right, here's a different color variation of the Chocobos. If you guys aren't familiar with this set, there's very, very rare but colored Chocobo full arts that you can get that are literally worth thousands of dollars. I think they're only available with the collector boosters, which is unfortunate. But I don't know. Like I said, we'll see what we get out of this here. But there's also the golden Chocobo, which are serialized Chocobos. There are only 77 of them. And something that I was talking about before, now that I work for CGC, we've actually seen 3 of the 77 come through so far. We saw number 4, number 12, and number 13. Number 1 of 77 got pulled somewhere in the Midwest. So I'm interested to see where that ends up and who ends up buying that. Reno and Rude, a dynamic duo here from Final Fantasy VII. Their iteration in Advent Children, the movie, was iconic for sure. Self-destruct, that's always necessary for sure. There's definitely needs and times where you can self-destruct. Luckily, in the Final Fantasy universe, you can literally just use Revive or a Phoenix down and you're back in the game. Ooh, Genova. Very, very iconic. She's pretty much like they take her genes and that's what makes Sephiroth and a lot of like the Livestream properties. Yeah, she's a very huge part of the Final Fantasy VII universe for sure. Ooh, and a mythic right behind it. Okay, good old Clive. We get Ifrit's domain. Dominant domain. Yeah. If you guys haven't played Final Fantasy 16 yet, I'm probably going to spoil something here in a second. So 3, 2, 1 for the spoiler alert. Clive can transform into Ifrit, which is sick. He finds out that he has that power. Ooh, and then we get Gladios right behind him. One of the four main protagonists from Final Fantasy 15, and our land is the forest. But yeah, Clive, definitely an awesome character. Again, I'm still working my way through Final Fantasy 16, but from what I've experienced so far, I really, really like Clive. He's just so badass. All right. Music stopped. Let me see why. Hold on. Oh, it's literally at the end. I forgot that this the Final Fantasy playlist I have is a very short one, but it's just under an hour. There we go. Nice little reset. All right. So another token. We get the wizard. That looks like a Taru, or yeah, it looks like one of the Tarus from Final Fantasy 14. Yeah, Taru Black Mages, they're scary for sure. And we get the bird on the other side. All right. Starting off with a Blitzball shot. And none other than Waka giving that shot. Everyone seems to be calling for Waka, folks. Man, it's crazy that I know exactly what that scene is from the game. God, man, this is amazing. Absolutely insane. We get the combat tutorial. I remember that as well. That's when you're leaving. That's when you're leaving Besaid, and you finally get into the combat and like an actual party system for Final Fantasy X. Paladin's arms. That's actually sick. Some of the armor from Final Fantasy 14. Sabo Tender, the Dire Rat, Laughing Mad. Again, we're going to start seeing a lot of duplicates here, so allow me to pick up the pace. Ooh! Oh, that is sick. It isn't uncommon, but that's definitely a full art. We get Golbits, good old Clad in Darkness. Absolutely insane. Very, very iconic villain from Final Fantasy IV. Looks very similar to X-Death, but just as evil on its own. Definitely worth mentioning that... yo, what's up, guys? How we doing? The sick thing about this is, remember I was talking about the iconic Final Fantasy illustrator? Yes, exactly. Then that's what I love about this, right? And same thing with the Final Fantasy TCG. They make all the cards look good, whether it's commons or, you know, they're crazy super rares. But this is from Mr. Amano himself. So you could definitely get the feeling of his artwork in this card. And it's so sick to see him be a part of this. Obviously, he's a very, very iconic Final Fantasy illustrator. He's done absolutely insane art for almost all of Final Fantasy. if you guys look at any of the box art or the crest, right, for each Final Fantasy, each one has like its own individual logo. Amano created all of them from 1 to 16 and beyond. So definitely, you've probably seen his artwork before, but just didn't realize it. Good old Lionheart. It's a very, very iconic weapon used by Squall. Lions are known for their great strength and pride. You are absolutely right. Dark Knight's Greatsword. Me personally, I'd probably take the Dark Knight's Greatsword over Squall's Lionheart, but that's just me. We get Bart's and Boko. That's what he named his Chocobo. That kind of rhymed. Very, very awesome artwork there. I like that a lot. That is a rare. All right. Good old Gigatoad, and some you don't want to run into. It's literally just a giant toad. Kind of reminds me of some of the creatures from Monster Hunter. Yeah, giant toads, always super creepy for sure. Ooh, nice. And we get a hollow land. That's actually kind of sick. I like that. Definitely wasn't expecting that. I think one of your favorite cover arts. Oh, yeah. That was a good one for sure. I like that one. I really, really like Final Fantasy 11's, especially because some of the different artwork he did, it's literally just like all the characters in this perfect unison. It just looks so amazing. But, yeah. 12's definitely had a good one for sure. I like Final Fantasy 15's, especially like as you learn about the story and figure out what's going on. And it's funny, once you beat the main story in that game, like it literally changes the logo, like the main crest, which is awesome. All right, same one we got before. I'm just going to flip you over this way, another token. All right, so we're almost done with this first stack. We get the Cloudbound Moogle. You see these a lot in Final Fantasy 14 and one of the other zones. Ooh, there you go. Summon Ifrit again. Very, very nice. We get the Airman, or Airman. We get the T-Rex, the Lolo, oh my goodness, the Loporite. It's literally just a bunny. Ooh! Oh, that is sick! That's from Final Fantasy VI, Search for the Frozen Esper. Remember I was talking about the Magitex earlier? So, this is so sick. This is literally pixel art. Like, goddamn Square Enix, you guys are amazing. So this is pixel art. This is literally like a screen grab from Final Fantasy VI. They're on the Magitech there. They found the Frozen Esper. Man, that is insane. That looks so cool. And I know the camera just doesn't do it its justice, but yeah, I'm going to go back and sleeve a lot of these full arts for sure. And put that off to the side. We get Clash of the Icons. So icons, also known as summons, right? The names change depending on which Final Fantasy iteration you're playing, but in theory, that's what they are. They're just summons or these giant mythical beasts. We get an elixir, very iconic. Every Final Fantasy has some kind of potion to heal you. Random encounters. It wouldn't be Final Fantasy without random encounters, whether you're playing the open world or not. Good old Cid, the timeless artificer. This is the Final Fantasy 14 iteration of Cid, and Cid has changed so much even in that game. This is kind of current day Cid, full beard. He's super old now, but ooh, the Darkness Crystal. Obviously, everything Final Fantasy related has some kind of crystal or mother crystal. Yeah, it wouldn't be Final Fantasy without crystals. Ooh, nice. And we get the Hollow Blazing Bomb and the Imperial Capital. Very, very nice. All right. All right, so let me go back and pull some of these full arts out. Definitely worth sleeving these up for sure. Again, we'll do a full recap at the very end, but after seeing some of these full arts, I want to sleeve them up now. I don't want to wait till later. Where did I get another one? I feel like there's... I pulled a couple of them, right? Is it in the rare pile? Yeah, I think it's... Yeah, it's peeking out right there. Yep. Good old Crystal Tower. If I have any other ones in the stack, obviously remind me, let me know. I'm going to sleeve them up now. But, all right, so there's the first 10 packs. What do you guys think? Do you like this? Whether you're a fan of Magic the Gathering or not, whether you're a fan of Final Fantasy or not, I mean, you gotta love this artwork. This all just looks absolutely amazing. And like I said, we'll do a full recap at the end. I'll post stuff on Instagram, so if you're popping in and out of the stream, which obviously I appreciate you coming by, yeah, we'll do a full recap for sure. All right. Let's kind of clean this up a little bit. All right, so if I move this over a little bit there. All Or maybe I'll move back this way. Yeah, let's move back this way. Put some of these here. Move our hollows up here. There we go. Let's move our mythics. There we go. A little more organized. So there we go. Bigger hits on the bottom. Obviously our tokens we'll just keep off to the side. Can you see if I put them here? Yes, you can. Perfect. All right. And then our full arts. Yeah, this is sick. I'm really enjoying this if you guys haven't picked up on that already. All right, so there we go. And I don't know how many hits are in each box. So again, I don't know the pull rates or anything like that, but yeah. All right, next set. Oh, probably shouldn't have moved that stuff around because here we go. Another 10 packs. So, shameless plug, but here it is. If you guys enjoy this kind of content, make sure you hit that like button and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do truly appreciate all the support. And yeah, I don't know, everything's going good right now. I can't complain. I had such a good time up in North Carolina when I was there. Wish I could have stayed longer, of course. But yeah, it's kind of weird to say that I had a job to go back to. And I know that sounds so dumb because, like, yeah, everyone has jobs. But you got to think, I was doing the eBay thing for a long time. All right, here we go. Another token. I hope we get some more of those insert cards. I mean, I like these tokens for sure, but I want to see more of the inserts. All right. You think they do God packs in Magic? Probably not. All right, so we get Ifrid, Airman, T-Rex, the Dragoon's Wyvern, the Cloudbound Moogle, Vane's Treachery. Yeah, he was definitely pretty treacherous for sure. The Loporite. Ooh! Oh, man. Another full art. Dawn Warrior's Legacy. That looks sick. That's from Final Fantasy V. Man, this artwork is ridiculous. And again, it's like this perfect collaboration with, you know, amazing illustrators from Magic, and then you get amazing illustrators from Final Fantasy, and they kind of marry and meet together in the middle. This one is from Final Fantasy. Man, that's a beautiful looking card. And that's just a rare. I'm going to sleeve that up in a second. We get Quinta, the Q Gormit. Yeah, absolutely insane there. Rufus Shinra, very, very iconic. He's also known as the president of the Shinra Corporation. If you know, you know. Unexpected Request from Final Fantasy IX. Okay, I like that. The Machinist Arsenal. That's so sick. So that's actually really fitting. So this is Machinist from Final Fantasy XIV. You can summon these giant robot mechs to fight with you. It's more of like a cooldown ability, but yeah, and then you get to summon these giant Gatling guns. That one's using Flamethrower. Man, that looks absolutely sick. But there's the rare. Common behind it. Oh, hold on. Make sure I'm not mixing this all up. That's what happens. I move something and then I forget where I have everything. All right, Thunder Magic. This one's from Final Fantasy 13. Funny enough, Lightning is using Thunder Magic. And again, they have it all lined out, right? So you can use Thundara or Thundiga. Man, that's so sick. I love it. And then our land. All right. All right, that goes there. That goes there. Let me sleeve up this absolutely beautiful full art. And again, like I previously mentioned, I have no idea the value or worth of any of these cards. So if I do hit something big and you know it's, if you know it's big, please chime in chat. Let me know. Obviously, YouTube just added the chat leaderboards, so keep that in mind. I'm gonna keep peeking as we go through the stream and try to keep track of who the top people in chat are. I do want to figure something out. You guys have always been super supportive. All right, so we get food, always nice, and nice. The other side of the token is the hero. Yeah, that looks absolutely amazing. Again, the artwork is just nuts. All right, so we get the merchant here. Slash of Light. Again, there's the Warrior of Light. Red Mage Rapier. the Black Mage's Rod. The Airship Crash. Yeah, it looks like it crashed forever ago because that thing just got eaten up by the woods for sure. The Blitzball, iconic. And it looks like Titus is kicking the Blitzball in the background there. Man, such a cool sport. Man, it would be nuts if we ever get the tech where we can just, all right, fill up a giant water sphere. Ooh, oh my God. Let's go. Another uncommon, but this is another very, very awesome Amano artwork there. The Wild Rose Rebellion. Man, people say that Final Fantasy doesn't have good art. Look at that. That's Amano's artwork for you right there. Absolutely beautiful full art. These are all the characters from Final Fantasy II. Man, that is beautiful for sure. All right, I'll sleeve that up in a second. We get the Prima Vista. What's going on, Jay? How we doing? I'm just going through some Final Fantasy, or I'm sorry, Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy cards. We get the Queen Brahine, Final Fantasy IX. Cloud of Darkness. She's made multiple iterations throughout the Final Fantasy games, but her in Final Fantasy III was super intimidating because she was, you know how like enemies scale, right? Or like you think you got, you know, you're doing good, you're progressing, you're leveling up, and then you just hit this wall of a boss. That's what the Cloud of Darkness was. Even in Final Fantasy XIV, she was very, very, a very big pain for sure. Ooh, nice. The Great Sage, Final Fantasy IV. This one looks so sick because there's all the different colors going all over here. That looks amazing. That's the rare. Ooh, we get another. See, these are so confusing to me. Like, we're getting multiple rares in these packs. I don't know how these are supposed to lay it out, but I'll take it. There is our uncommon holo there and our land on the back. Nice, another holo. That's actually sick. That's Seventh Heaven from Final Fantasy VII. Man, there's rhyming shit needs to stop. But yeah, that looks absolutely amazing. Another holo land there. Let me put these here. Put that there. Couple uncommons. But yeah, that full art is nuts. And again, that's just an uncommon. Absolutely beautiful. Another great Amano artwork. I might have to add that to the Amano binder, or I'll have to do a separate one just for the the Magic the Gathering Amanos. Ooh, nice. We get another one of these inserts. This is something, again, I would love to see Pokemon do, but I mean, they're not going to do it, obviously. Let's flip it over and see which one it is, though. Ooh, nice. Good old Y'shtola from Final Fantasy XIV. She's one of the strongest black mages in that universe. I'll sleeve that up in just a sec. This card is just, it's so funny to me. Commune with Beavers. Sure. We get the Ice Flan, Summon Chocomog, the item Shopkeep, Marlboro. These things are super creepy because every Final Fantasy they've been implemented in, they always have this attack which has like 8 different status effects. So if you can't stop it or you can't dodge it, especially if it has like AoE lines, you're going to get hit with all kinds of gunk and you're going to be messed up for a good bit. But yeah, good old Marlboros, super creepy creatures. There we go. Sleeve that up. Move you off to the side. All right, let's keep rolling. All right, we get good old... oh my goodness, Seymour. Why am I drawing a blank every time I see this character? Blitzball, which I wish the Blitzball would hit Seymour in the head. It probably would have prevented a lot of issues in that game. Man, there's a whole lot of cards in this. All right, Travel the Overworld. We saw that earlier. We get Orin's Inspiration. That looks so sick. Got like Ghost Orin in the background there. I love that artwork there. Absolutely amazing. Overkill. It's always nice to see that, especially a lot of Final Fantasies where if you do like massive crit damage and it's more than enough to like finish off the enemy, that's what it will pop on the screen. It says Overkill. It's really, really sick animation. Nice. Good old Aerith Gainsborough there. Obviously very iconic Final Fantasy VII character. Ooh, there is a mythic behind this. This really throws me off, by the way. Again, like, because I don't know the order and like what to expect. It's like, all right, cool, rare. The other pack, we had 2 rares, and now there's a mythic. Let's see what the mythic is. In 3, 2, 1. Ooh, oh, nice. Niflheim, a flame. Man, that is an iconic scene for sure. If you don't know who that character is, well, obviously you don't know Final Fantasy. That's good old Sephiroth there. You know, he was probably one of the strongest and best soldiers in the soldier program. And then there's a twist, and he's just out to get the world at that point and take over everything he can and leave it ablaze, or a flame rather. But yeah, absolutely beautiful Sephiroth there. We get the Gubu Gardener as the Hollow, and then Guado Salam, very, very nice. So Guado Salam is where the Guados live, and the Far Plane in Final Fantasy X is where, when you pass away, I think that's a safe way to say it on YouTube. When you pass away, your spirit goes to the Far Plane, and you can go and visit people in the Far Plane, and that happens. Waka visits his brother there. You know, Orin visits a couple other characters in there. I don't want to spoil anything from a game that came out forever ago, but it's such a cool environment, and yeah, very, very pivotal piece of the narrative for sure, because there's some things that are disclosed that a lot of people don't catch when you go to the Far Plane, but I'll let you figure that out yourself. But there we go, another mythic. Oh, I'm putting them down here. Gotcha. All right. Moving right along. 76 minutes into the stream, and we still got plenty more to get through. Let's see what else we got here. We got another wizard token, and the other side is the good old chocobo. I wish they didn't call it bird. Just call it chocobo. Like, that's literally what it is. But I digress. Let's keep rolling. Red Mage's Rapier. We get Black Mage's Rod. Prish. We get the Merchant. The Slash of Light. Shinra Reinforcements. That's actually sick. First time seeing that one. We get Seymour. Ooh, the Judge Maester Garbranth. Very, very iconic antagonist from Final Fantasy XII. There's a whole ministry of these Judge Maesters. You actually fight a whole bunch of them, but yeah, they're pretty evil, but super strong. Delivery Moogle. That's absolutely sick artwork there. And it's cool because in games like Final Fantasy XIV, if you have any of the housing that's there, which, yes, they had it before World of Warcraft, shameless plug, get good. You can literally hire a Moogle to just hang outside your place, and when people send you mail, or like if someone gets you a gift, and you come back and return to your house, the Moogle's dancing, there's music playing, so it's that cue that, hey, you got some mail. The Opera Love Song, very, very nice. Final Fantasy VI. Crystal Fragments, key part of any Final Fantasy, right? You're always trying to find a crystal fragment or piece together these mother crystals or get access to the mother crystal. Final Fantasy IX. Another rare here. Let's see which one it is. Ooh, Vaughn, good old street thief. Final Fantasy XII's main protagonist. Vaughn has a very unique story. I think he's a very lovable character. Definitely goes through a lot of trials and tribulations, but just like any other, protagonist in any kind of hero story, they start out in the low of the low, and they end up at the high of the high at the end. But yeah, Vaughn, very cool character there. Ooh, okay, so we get another rare right behind it. This looks like a full art rare. Let's see what the... All right, so there's our land. We get the mountain. Let's just set this here for a second. Man, that looks sick. The Darkness Crystal. Man. Just absolutely beautiful cards. And again, I know nothing of the value. Obviously, this is rare, so it's better than common or uncommon. But that is fully holographic. Just absolutely beautiful card. Legendary artifact. Black spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. That's got to be crucial. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, instead exile it and you gain 2 life. So my understanding of exiling is like banishing in Yu-Gi-Oh, where you completely remove it from play. If anyone in chat can confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that's what that means. Another absolutely beautiful card, and we keep rolling. All right, another token. Nice. Again, I want to see more of the inserts. I like these tokens, but we're starting to get a bunch of repeats. I want to see more inserts. All right, Revive the Esper. That's a new one. We haven't seen that one yet. Okay, Fate of the Suncrist. Some new cards we haven't seen yet. Okay, it's like a whole pack of new cards here. We get the Mysidian Elders, Final Fantasy IV. The Hecta Eye. Oh, man. These things are super creepy. They're definitely a pain in a lot of the different Final Fantasies they've been implemented in. Summon the Fat Chocobo. It explains itself. It's just a giant fat chocobo. It's hilarious. Iron Giant, again, we saw the holo earlier. There's the regular version. Vincent's Limit Break. Vincent, you know, for an optional character, Vincent was such a crucial part of Final Fantasy VII. His background is insane. And it's sad because it's a missable character. Like, you can play at least the original Final Fantasy VII and never get Vincent. So when people are like, oh, who's Vincent or who's Yuffie? Like, it's characters you can absolutely miss, which is insane because of how iconic they became. Speaking about iconic, we have the Gold Saucer. Now, the Gold Saucer, think of it as like Las Vegas or Atlantic City. It's a giant casino. There's a bunch of mini games to play, and they've reiterated this since Final Fantasy VII multiple times, and it's such a cool idea. I really, really like it. In Final Fantasy XIV, there's all like your daily mini games you can play and tokens that you can earn. Evil Reawakened, Final Fantasy V. Very, very nice. That looks like X-Death there. Delivery Moogle again. We get Locke Cole, Final Fantasy VI. One of the main characters there. Like the background there, all the little trim there. The artwork and just like the borders on these cards look absolutely amazing, by the way. Ooh, all right. So we got another mythic here. It's so exciting to see these because I know they're the highest rarity. But every time you see that M, you hope for something really, really good. So let's see what we got in 3, 2, 1. Okay, well, it's a Chocobo. Obviously, you would love to see the crazy high-end rare Chocobos, but this is a mythic, so I'll take it. It's not a serialized one, but it is a mythic. So I can't complain. Good old traveling Chocobo. Most Final Fantasy games, at some point in time, you get to get the Chocobo mount, and it helps you kind of traverse the old open world. Another common holo there. And our land is the Waste. That looks sick from Final Fantasy 16. All right. Sleeve up this mythic real quick. If I didn't see that M, I probably would have thought of something different. And obviously the big logo on the bottom helps it stand out as well, but there we go. All right, hopefully everyone's hanging out and enjoying themselves. Ooh, another insert. Very, very nice. Oh, it already tells you what it is on the back, but I like being surprised and flipping it over, so let's see what it is. Oh, that looks so sick. Barrett from Final Fantasy VII Remake or Rebirth. Man, that looks amazing. I'm going to sleeve that up here in a second. Absolutely beautiful. There we go. Man, that looks sick. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll collect a bunch of the inserts there. There's 53 of them, so I can only imagine how expensive they are. Calls to the Mountains. Maybe that's our sign. Someone let me know. Someone look this up, right? And you can go ahead and spoil it for me. I don't think you can, but someone look in real quick for me. See if you can get the multicolored Chocobos in just the regular play packs, or if it only comes from the collector boosters. I'm pretty sure it only comes from the collector boosters, but ooh, Magic Pot. There's a new one. Literally just a creature that lives in the pot. There's Instant Ramen again. It's so funny seeing this, especially how it was just like such a random collab to happen. There is Cactar, so there's the traditional form. All right, you guys saw the Sabo Tender earlier. These things are scary for sure. In a lot of the Final Fantasy games, they're known to do an attack called 1000 Needles, which you can assume how much damage it does there. Garnet from Final Fantasy IX, very, very iconic character there. She is, as it says, the Princess of Alexandria. Ooh, Relentless X/ATM092. Character from Final Fantasy VIII. You see a lot of the Final Fantasy VIII cast right there. Looks like they're running away, which makes perfect sense. I probably would too. Side quest, card collecting. How awesome is that? Like, that's literally what I'm doing, right? That's all I really do. And it's just so funny to see that as a side quest. That's absolutely hilarious. The glory of the tourney awaits. That's sick. I love it. All right, here's our rare. We get the Moogle's Valor. Okay, nice, nice. There is our holo. Nice. We get the Namazu Trader. And our land, we get Gongaga, the good old reactor town from Final Fantasy VII. All right. A few more packs in this stack, and then we get down to the last bit. Again, I don't know what the pull rates are from these boxes, but I'm not going to complain. I'm liking every bit of this. What I need to do now is, especially because I can't find any Pokemon stuff, I need to see if I can find some more of these play boosters. Oh, here's something, right? And a little bit of an ask, but if anyone goes to Costco and you see the Final Fantasy bundles that they have there, which are absolutely sick, and they're way cheaper than if you were to buy those items anywhere else, please let me know. I really want to get one of those bundles for sure. Airship Crash, Retrieve the Esper, Fate of the Sun, the Massidian Elder. We get the White Mage's Staff. Very, very iconic White Mage cloak there. The Magic Pot. There's Zack Fair. Another very, very iconic Final Fantasy VII character. I'm really glad that Zack ended up getting his own game, or a game focused around him, which was Crisis Core. And it's so funny because I literally own Zack's Buster Sword. It's hard to explain, but I literally have a giant metal sword that literally breaks down to a bunch of different parts like it does in Advent Children, but it's funny that Zack has a Buster Sword. All right. Esper Ramu, literally the god of thunder and lightning. Elixir. Ooh, okay, nice. So we get Fang, legendary creature here. Okay, so someone explain this one to me, because so this looks like one of the full arts, but it says 2-3 here, but then there's also a 7/6 right there. Someone let me know what that is. It's not holographic, but ooh, there's a rare behind it. We get Tifa right behind it, another legendary creature. Yeah, Human Monk. Yeah, that's a good way to explain what Tifa is. She's a badass that likes to punch and kick people, so I love it. There is the world map and our land back in the 7th heaven, which again is funny because we just pulled Tifa. All right. So, Fang, very, very iconic character from Final Fantasy 13. I'm curious, though, what that is. So, like, I know 2-3, right? And this whole corner here is like your attack, defend. But then there's a 7/6 right above that. I don't know what that means, though. It is an uncommon. I don't know. I'm going to have to look up after. But very, very beautiful card. Oh, and there's a whole different back to this one. This is one of those two-sided cards. Okay. Oh, so, okay. So, there we go. You flip it over. That's how it becomes a 7/6. Okay. Okay, that's actually pretty sick. I like that. I'm going to have to double-check all these other ones. All right, moving on. Ooh, nice. Another insert card. Gladly take that. Let's see what insert it is. Ooh, nice. That looks absolutely insane. We get the Genova art insert there. Going to insert that into a sleeve. There we go. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to have to collect the inserts for sure. All right, we get Marlboro, the Bard's Bow, using a move, and that's the actual Bard class from Final Fantasy XIV. Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum, You're Not Alone, that's sick. Was that Zidane from Final Fantasy IX? Light of Judgment, Blitzball, Adventures Inn, always important. That's where you always go to either hit up a shop, get some rest and heal. Ride the Shoe Puff. Oh, man. Good old reference to Final Fantasy X there. That's the Shoe Puff is not that character there. It's that giant creature that's sitting under it. But, yeah, there's a part in Final Fantasy X where you ride the Shoe Puff across this giant, vast sea. Very, very awesome. Love to see that. Ooh, we get Steiner from Final Fantasy IX. Cargo ship from Final Fantasy IX as well. Again, airships are very, very prevalent throughout all of Final Fantasy. Side quest play Blitzball. It's so funny to see that because in Final Fantasy X, there is the Blitzball minigame, which pretty much turns into a side quest, right? There's leagues. You can recruit other members and build your roster. Depending on what tournaments and games you win, you can earn other abilities. So, no, that's actually really, really fitting. There's gold bits there. There's our rare. All right. Still feel like there's a couple more cards here. Here's our holo. We get the sleep magic. Very, very nice. And our land. Good old Guado Salam. Yeah, that's where it goes. All right. All right. Who all still here? Someone chime in chat. Let me know that you're here enjoying the stream. I definitely am for sure. This was the one way to bring me into the Magic universe for sure. And I said this when they announced this set forever ago. I said this is going to be the Magic the Gathering set that I get into for sure. And they got me hooked. That looks absolutely amazing there. Absolutely beautiful there. Sorceress's schemes. Yeah, that's very fitting for sure. There we go. All right. Let's see some more full arts. Let's see some more crazy cards. We get the Warrior Sword, cornered by Black Mages, Gubu, Scorpion Sentinel. We get the Coral, Monk Fists, White Mage Staff. There's good old Zidane, very, very iconic protagonist from Final Fantasy IX. Sleep Magic again, regular version. Sorcerer's Scheme, so that looks so sick that that's the minimized artwork from this here. Glad that they did the art insert for that. Garland. Ooh, the Fire Crystal. That looks sick. Legendary Artifact. Okay, makes perfect sense. It definitely is. Looks like a full art maybe? I don't know, kind of, yeah, I mean, no, I mean, it has this kind of form of full art, which is not, I don't know, it's not a complete full art, right? Because you still have the border and the backdrop there compared to some of these other ones. Ooh, the Prima Vista Holo. And, ooh, Swamp. That looks sick. We get the Holo Swamp. Gladly take that. Like seeing Holo lands. I bet there's definitely people out there that just play with all the full art and high-end lands, which it sounds crazy, but there is some expensive lands that you can get out there. All right, pack number 20. We are almost done. You guys will definitely have to let me know in the comments, or if you're watching this, let me know in the stream what you guys think, or if you're watching this after the fact, make sure you leave your comment down in the comment section below. Hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. All right, so Ice Magic, Thunder Magic, nice. Ooh, there's Sephiroth there. Resentful Revelation. The Blitzball shot there. Waka's trying to take out Sephiroth, which that would never happen, unfortunately. And trust me, I'm a big fan of Waka, but that fight would not go well. Paladin's Arms. The World Map. Ooh! Oh, there's another four. Luca Stadium. That looks sick. So, Luca is the main hub for all things Blitzball. That's where they hold all the yearly tournaments in Luca. A very, very iconic scene. A very, very pivotal part of the narrative for Final Fantasy X. There's a lot of things that go down in Luca outside of the Blitzball tournament. But, man, that's a beautiful card. Just leaving that up for sure. Unexpected Request. Arn's Inspiration. I love that one. The Albed Savagers. That's sick. Very, very iconic there. Ooh, sorry about that. We get Midgar. Good old City of Mako. That's the greenish, like teal energy that you see. Side quest, Raise a Chocobo. That's actually sick. There's plenty of Final Fantasies where you get to raise a Chocobo. And sometimes, depending on what you feed them, you get to change the hue of their feathers or their plumage. That's the correct term, right? And then the Island Land. That's awesome. That's literally Besaid. That's so sick. All right, very nice. I think that's the closest we're going to get to seeing some of these the different colored chocobos here. As much as I'd love to see one again, I don't think you can get them in the play boosters, but hey, we're still getting some beautiful full arts. All right, here we go. Last 10 packs. Kind of crazy, but yeah, I'm having so much fun going through this. Definitely gonna have to get more. So anytime I don't have traditional Final Fantasy TCG stuff, I'm gonna definitely keep trying to get the Magic the Gathering stuff. And you know, I don't think people really collect like full sets of Magic, especially because these sets are massive. They're usually just trying to collect the cards they need for whatever their deck is or their play style. We do get another insert though. But yeah, again, I'll look at the whole set list after the fact. All right, let's see what we got on this one. Ooh, nice. That is absolutely sick. Man, definitely stunning artwork for sure. Gonna have to get some more sleeves out, but there we go. All right, let's see what we get here. We get Fight On, Glacial Greens. We get the Magic Damper, Cloudbound Moogle, Summon Ifrit. Hold on one second. Oh, all right. I have to stand up for a second. Literally at work, I sit in a chair, sitting in a chair immediately following work. Yeah, the audio is going to sound a little different, but I'm going to stand up for a little bit. Hopefully you guys don't mind. All right, we get the Hill Gigas. First time seeing that. Eating the Seat of Sanctum. That's from Final Fantasy 13. It's our uncommon. Barrett Wallace. We saw that artwork earlier in the insert. Summon Anima again. Omega. Another very, very awesome primal or a summon, if you will. There is, was it Ultima and Omega? Yeah, both very, very intimidating creatures for sure. This is the Final Fantasy 14 iteration, which they literally did a whole raid tier of based on Omega. Ooh, we get Hope Esteem from Final Fantasy 13. And move these over. Very, very cool card, though. Hope definitely has... I'm going to sit back down. It's not going to work as much as I want that to. All right. I'm just going to fix my posture a little bit. All right. Yeah, very early on, it's Final Fantasy 13. Hope goes through some very traumatic things. I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't played it yet. It's definitely worth playing. And Hope's story arc is insane. I feel like he's a very underappreciated character. I really, really liked Hope. Another rare. Ooh, nice. We get the Hollow Land, good old starting town. That's sick from Final Fantasy 1. Nice, so we got 2 lands back to back. That's pretty cool. All right. All right. Hoping for one more really big hit. And again, ooh, another insert. Ooh, that's sick. Man, that's another awesome scene for sure. Again, Titus and Yuna there. I want to say it's right after or right before they go to Bavel. Yeah, the farewell scene. Oh, so that's even later, way later than that. But very, very iconic scene. It's one of those games that's literally timeless. Like, you can go back and play Final Fantasy X anytime. It's on damn near every platform at this point. But well worth checking out. Absolutely. Ooh. Oh. As I was talking about how amazing Final Fantasy X is, we get good old Squall Leonhardt, the main protagonist from Final Fantasy VIII, in that absolutely beautiful full art. That looks like it's the in-game artwork, too. That looks sick. All right, well, I got to dig out some more sleeves now. We get Prompto, one of the 4 boys from Final Fantasy 15. We get Goluf's Final Act. The Ilmeg Pixies. Yeah, they're very, very... what's the right word to use or phrase here? They're a bit of a nuisance in Final Fantasy XIV, especially once you meet Titania, the pixie or fairy queen, if you will. Another rare. Nice, there we go. We get Firen or Firone from Final Fantasy II. Nice. You're not alone as the Hollow. And then our land as Trino, the Dark City from Final Fantasy IX. That's sick. All right. Let's check these out. All right. Man, do I really not have any other sleeves anywhere? It's kind of embarrassing. Nope, all those sleeves are taken up. So, while I'm looking at this stuff here, a little bit of a heads up for Sunday. Sunday is going to be a little bit more of like binder updates. We're going to organize some stuff in some of the other binders. I may or may not have stuff to open. I don't want to spoil it just yet, but keep an eye out. I may have some cool stuff to open. Also, one of these streams, may do it Sunday, may do it on a different one. I still have to put these together. This is stuff that Alex from /frag got me while he was in Japan. This is going to be really fun because it looks like a little bit of a stencil, but it's 6 different layers, and there's a bunch of different pieces that go on that layer, and you have to glue all them together. So that should be fun. Alex, you have to let me know if you guys finished the one we were working on before I left. And then this one here is like Lego, so that should be fun too. But yeah, I'll have to look for. Oh, actually, hold on. I do have some grading sleeves. That'll do for right now. All right. Yeah, definitely need to order a bunch more sleeves. But it's all right. Like I said, I'll just use these. And conveniently enough, look at who I got them from. Still so crazy. Like, even though I literally just finished my first week of work, it's surreal. Like, I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. Like, I actually work there now. It's awesome for sure. Something I'm very excited and lucky to be able to do for sure. Alright, sleeve this up. And again, once I find my other sleeves, I'll transfer some stuff over. But, hey, I'm glad we're still getting some hits here. Absolutely beautiful full arts. Probably have to reset the music again here soon. Ooh, and another insert. Very, very nice. We'll look at all the numbers and see which ones we got. Definitely not going to get all 53. Ooh, oh, what? Okay, that's absolutely sick. That is nuts. So that's from the illustrator, Marta Nail. And again, that's the art of Terra. That is sick. Yep, let me sleeve that up real quick. I'm assuming that's nice to get. And again, I know it's just an insert, but to get a signature like that is kind of sick, right? Absolutely nuts. There we go. Yeah, that's huge. Definitely gonna have to look at the whole set. All right, pick back up where I left off. Let's see what else we can get here. Obviously, pretty much all, I was just about to say all duplicates, but there's a new one right there. That is the Sage from Final Fantasy XIV. We get the good old weapons vendor from Final Fantasy VII Remake or Rebirth. Haste magic, that's pretty sick. Haste is always huge in the Final Fantasy universe. It either allows you to attack faster or get your turns faster, and that's exactly what you want. Vincent's Limit Break, the Iron Giant, the Poo Poo UFO. That's awesome. So in Final Fantasy XIV, you can actually get that as a mount. This is the iteration from Final Fantasy VIII. Very, very cool callback there. The Black Waltz number 3. Prima Vista. Emperor of Palamecia from Final Fantasy II. Nice, Louis Soix. Louis Soix is very, very iconic to Final Fantasy XIV. Now, if you never played it, you're missing out. And I know it's an MMO, and a lot of people don't like them, but just at least go and watch like the cutscenes or something. Like, I know there's videos online where it's literally just all the cutscenes back to back to back. Louis Soix, especially in terms of how the narrative played out from the end of 1.0 when the game shut down to its revival, Louis Soix saved everybody in that universe. So there's a huge inbound calamity, and Louis Suai uses some grand magic and saves everybody. And he's gone down in history, and he's remembered, and all the heroes and adventurers know of Louis Suai and all the great things that he did. Very, very awesome character for sure. Ooh, that is sick. So we get Zodiark. So you go from one of the best heroes, if you will, to one of the worst villains. Good old Zodiark. This is the Final Fantasy 14 iteration. And then we get the Imperial Capital right behind it. That looks sick for sure. Man. I'm really, really liking these. I like the holos. They're not as exaggerated, if you will, as like Pokemon's are. They're way more subtle, but it's clean. Like, I really, really like how they look. This is a random common. All right. Definitely winding down here. If you guys want to see more of this stuff, obviously let me know. I mean, I'm probably going to open up more of this because there's definitely cards I want to chase. If I do get my hands on any of the collector's packs, I will for sure save them for a stream. Hopefully they go down in price, but unfortunately I don't see that happening. If anything, I see them going up in price. Here's another token. Very, very creepy creature from Final Fantasy 14. And we get the hero on the other side. That's awesome. Good old Warrior of Light there. All the different weapons. That's really sick. Let me flip this over. All right. So we have Hecta Eyes, Summon Fat Chocobo, the Sage, Weapons Vendor, Haste Magic, Grand Pulse Ocho. Oh, there's a new one. The Lunatic Pandora. Okay. Final Fantasy VIII, Legendary Artifact. Ooh! Oh, talking about Final Fantasy VIII. Another full art. A Promise Fulfilled. And again, it goes perfectly right next to the other Final Fantasy VIII full art we pulled. And again, that's just an uncommon. That's insane. Hold on, let me sleeve that real quick. Man, these full arts are no joke. There we go. I guess it makes up for not being able to have access to like some of the crazy high-end cards, right? Clash of the Icons, Magitech Armor, Random Encounter. Ooh, double pulled, my bad. And of course, we double pulled over Ultima. Final Fantasy 16 version of Ultima. Do look super creepy. These were our uncommons, all right. We got another rare behind it, so we got two rares back to back. And then we get our Swamp. All right. Good old Sarah, that is Lightning's sister from Final Fantasy 13. Again, another very pivotal and trivial story arc for her. Final Fantasy 13-2 is literally her trying to find her sister after the events of Final Fantasy 13 take place. It leaves her with a co-protagonist, just trying to figure out who each other are and what their intent is and how they can get to Lightning, if she's even around. Why did I put these as... Oh, these are all the... Okay, these are all commons. I'm like, what are all these for? All right. Ooh. Another new token. As much as I'd like to see the inserts, it's cool to see new tokens as well. We got the Elemental and a hero. All right. Let's see if we can get anything else crazy. There we go. That's a good start. Sephiroth's Intervention. Yeah, that's an iconic scene for sure. Fate is not to be taken lightly, Cloud. Yeah, you're right about that, Sephiroth, for sure. Gigatoad, the Rook turret. So that's actually one of the machinists from Final Fantasy 14 using that. It's another one of the summons that it has, or the little pets, if you will. Eris Rescue Mission. Wow. You know, if you put these two cards together, you kind of build a story and a plot there. Anyway, we get the Blazing Bomb, Iron Giant. Ooh, another full art, Final Fantasy 12. The Imperial City of Arch Hades? Yeah, we'll go with that. Let's see. Absolutely beautiful. Man, that's a good looking card. Sleeve that up in just a second. We get the Coup Gourmet or Gourmet. Lionheart. That's actually the better Lionheart. If you know, you know. Rufus Shinra again. Ooh, Arden. Very, very... He's an interesting antagonist because you have some initial suspicions in Final Fantasy 15, and then this dude's story arc hits you, and you're like, wow, I understand why he became a villain. It makes total sense. He's a bad dude for sure. All right. And then we get the Seed Academy. Ooh, nice. We get a... Well, that's kind of sick. So this was the rare. We get the Black Waltz Hollow. And then we get our other land behind it. The old Dark City once again. You know, I'm still glad. I mean, obviously I'm glad with all the hits and stuff we got, but it's glad to see we're still getting some of these full arts. This is insane. If only I knew how to play Magic. All right, it's all good. Got, what, maybe 4 or 5 packs left. We're at 111 minutes so far. I'm exhausted for sure. But, yeah, I'm enjoying every bit of this. And hopefully you are as well. Let's see what else we can get out of here. Bard Bow, Rook Turret, or the Rook Turret, Era's Rescue Mission, the Light of Judgment, Sephiroth's Intervention, the Iron Giant, Vincent's Limit Break. Ooh, there we go. Another character for Final Fantasy VIII. If you guys remember one of the later, or one of the more recent Final Fantasy streams, when I got all those transparent Final Fantasy 7 and 8 cards, she was a part of that. Ash, another protagonist from Final Fantasy 12. Sandworm, man, I'd hate to be out in the desert and you see that thing. All the deployments I've been on, I haven't seen a creature like that. Yeah, that thing is super scary for sure. Demon Wall, another creepy critter. It's literally just a giant creature infused with a wall. And sometimes you'll stumble upon it by, you know, you think you're going to enter a space, and the wall turns, and now you're fighting Demon Wall. Ooh, there we go. We get Jill from Final Fantasy 16. She's the one that becomes Shiva, as notated there. Ooh, Summon Ramu as the Hollow. And we get Charlian. Nice. That's actually sick. This is one of the more recent zones from Final Fantasy 14. It didn't come with this expansion, but it came with the previous expansion, good old Endwalkers. Man, they went full tilt on one of my favorite Final Fantasies, and I'm all about it for sure. You know, someone gave me a heads up coming in this stream that, hey, you know, there's a lot of Final Fantasy 14 cards, and I'll take every bit of them. This is sick. All right, so we get the frog kind of looking back, kind of nervous. And we get the hero on the other side. All right, one more big hit. That's all I'm asking for. We've seen a lot of great cards here today, but it would be nice to just get one last big hit. Resentful Revelation, the Crossroads Village. All right, getting into the Crystal Chosen. Usually the plot of Final Fantasy has something to do with... Oh, I think the music stopped again. Hold on. Hold on to that thought. Yep, right at the end again. Man, we cycled through this twice now. That's insane. So, the Mother Crystal, or these, whatever the, you know, the World Crystal, always has its Crystal Guardians, or people that it summons to help it in some kind of capacity, or recover it, or restore it. The Ilmag Pixies. Summon Fenrir. That's sick. Fenrir is an absolutely awesome beast. Definitely seen a lot of different Final Fantasies. This one's from Final Fantasy 11. One of the strongest summons you can get in that game for sure. Ooh! We get Garuda right behind it. This one's from Final Fantasy 16. Almost looks like a full art. I do like how all this is on the side here. That's pretty sick. Is there a back to this? I gotta keep flipping these over to make sure that... Ooh! As I flip right to a mythic. Sorry, Tara. I gotta go back through and see if there's backs to any of these cards. I'm assuming there could be. Yeah, I don't know if that's a full... I mean, maybe that's a full art or some... it's close to it anyway. Yeah, another mythic. Terra. We have the Ice Magic Hollow, and our land is the Airship Kingdom. Terra from Final Fantasy VI. You know, Final Fantasy VI is renowned as one of the best Final Fantasies, especially because that's where they really went full tilt with the job system. And there's so many crazy interchangeable characters in that game. But most of that game is if, you know, the only real way you're getting another character introduced is if you lose one. So there's a lot of, how can I explain it? Let's say you lose a lot of characters, but then you're immediately introduced to new ones. Another token. All right, only 2 more packs after this one. Let's hope for another full art here to wrap things up. But if not, I can't complain. I had a great time going through this. Ooh, right on cue. Kefka's Tower. Now, this is a full art rare, which is, you know, better than some of the other full art uncommons we got, but still absolutely beautiful. And there's still a good chunk of cards here, so let's see what else we can get. We have the Samurai's Katana from Final Fantasy XIV, uncommon. Restoration Magic, Final Fantasy Final Fantasy V, sorry. Titus Blitzball Star, I like it. Final Fantasy X, obviously. The Side Quest. Ultima, okay, that's sick. It actually, there's Ultima there using the spell Ultima. We get the Paladin's Arms as a hollow, and we get Rabanaster as the land. That's so sick. I'm glad they picked a bunch of iconic locations for all these lands, instead of just being like, oh, here's the forest, and here's this, and here's that. Like, I mean, I should have assumed that they were going to do that, right? It's Square Enix and Final Fantasy, and obviously they have some absolutely amazing backdrops and cityscapes and just environments all encapsulating every game. There we go. Another full art. All right. I'm pretty sure we've maxed out on our full art queue. Again, I don't know what else we could get. I'm going to look at the set list after, but ooh, nice. We had another insert card. That's something I wouldn't mind getting. All right. See which one it is, even though the name's right there. I'm going to flip over. Nice. That's absolutely sick. I'm pretty sure he's trying to eat that frog, which we saw in that other scene there. That frog was all kinds of scared. Let me sleeve that up real quick. All right. There we go. So, the only caveat to next Friday that might impede on Final Fantasy Friday is the new Destiny 2 expansion drops this coming Tuesday, which I'm super excited for. People are like, oh, you still play Destiny 2? Yes, I absolutely do play Destiny 2. No matter how much people talk crap about it, it's a game I played when no one else was playing, and I'll probably, you know, keep playing when everyone else leaves again. But yeah, the new expansion comes out on Tuesday, and obviously I have to work throughout the week, and as awesome it'd be to call out on that day. I don't have PTO yet, so I'm kidding. If anyone from CGC's watching this, I'm not going to call out. Can't. But Friday, like usual, right, and it is our ritual that myself and Legend AF from /frag will stream the entire campaign. So Friday, depending on what time I get out of work, we're literally just going to get right into it. So obviously we're going to be playing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, kind of getting settled into the new systems and how things work. But Friday we're going full tilt, especially with the brand new raid drops on Saturday, which we probably won't get to it on Saturday, but that's what Sunday's for. It's up in the contest mode for the first 48 hours, but also as soon as the first team clears it, you get access to normal mode. So maybe we'll run the previous raid, because we still need to do that one too. And yeah, and then we'll roll right into the new one. All right, here we go. Ring of the Lucy. Huge, very, very crucial item from Final Fantasy 15. Oh man, Sean Toto. Man, this character is devious. All kinds of devious from Final Fantasy 11. The side quest Hunt the Marks. Nice, Kane. The traitorous dragoon from Final Fantasy 4. Very, very iconic character. And again, the titles fit all these characters so perfectly. In terms of dragoons, he's definitely up there in being iconic for sure. Nice. We get the hollow Lionheart, or Lionheart, sorry. I don't want to give that dude credit by any means. All right. Here we go. Last pack. Can we get some last pack magic here? Potentially. I mean, look at all these amazing hits we got on the table. We'll do a recap, but last pack. Packet number 30. No insert, unfortunately. But we do have the Moogle, the Mog, and the Hero. I'm going to set this down for just a second. Let's take a look at some of these art series here. So, again, they're turned all kinds of weird ways, especially because some are sideways, some are up and down artwork. We got 38, 15, 32, 21, 8, 14, 9, 33, 31, 20, and 11. So, obviously, missing a whole bunch, but yeah, I'm definitely going to look these up and try and collect them. This one's absolutely sick with the signature on it. That's got to be special for sure. Even though these are inserts, I mean, anything with a signature. I know it's not the real signature, but all this absolutely beautiful artwork. And a lot of this is just extended art from some of the cards that we've seen earlier. Man, that's absolutely sick. Hey, Nugget, what's going on? How you doing? Just going through some Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering cards. I did make my announcement earlier, by the way, about the new job and everything. So that was exciting. Obviously, I'm super excited about that. And yeah, super excited to see how that goes for sure. Again, week 1 down. And I'm looking forward to more and more weeks to come. Yeah, Nugget, obviously, I'll upload the stream immediately after this. But you got here just in time for last pack magic. Let's see what we can pull here. All right, Sage, Weapons Vendor, the Haste Magic, Shinra's Reinforcements, the Town Greeter. Always got those in every single Final Fantasy game. All right, the Adventures Inn and the Hilgigas. Fire Magic, very, very nice. Good old Vivi there, one of the strongest black mages in all of Final Fantasy. We get Gaius, Von Balser. Very, very iconic antagonist from Final Fantasy XIV. Still relevant in the story now. Like, he was relevant in the 1.0 version of the game, and he still finds a way to pop in. He's not gone yet. The Snow... I was going to say, yeah, that's Snow from Final Fantasy 13. Ooh! Okay. Don't know if that's a full art, but that looks absolutely sick. You got Clash of the Icons. So that's Ifrit fighting Titan from Final Fantasy 16. Absolutely beautiful card there. There's our rare. Good old Earth Crystal. And what's behind it? Blitzball Hollow. That's sick. And we get good old Charlian as our final land. So nothing too crazy. I mean, this uncommon is nuts, but I don't know if you consider that a full art or not. Obviously, someone that knows Magic better than I do, let me know. But, I mean, let's recap some of our big hits here. Got a bunch of full arts, got a bunch of mythics. And again, I'm going to do research immediately after the stream. And just check everything out and see what's what. But, yeah, I think that was pretty solid. All right, so we got Terra, the Mythic. The Imperial City of Archades, excuse me, Archades. We get Kefka's Tower. We get a Promise of Phil. They're so sick that we pulled it right after pulling Squall. The Lucas Stadium from 10. Wild Rose Rebellion. Man, Amano artwork, peak. Absolutely peak artwork there. We get Fang from 13. The Traveling Chocobo Mythic. Dawn Warrior's Legacy from Final Fantasy V. Crystal, the Darkness Crystal from 3. Niflheim of Flame. Good old Sephiroth there. Search for the Frozen Esper. This is probably one of my favorite full arts we pulled, especially because it's the pixel art from the game. Like, literal screen grab from Final Fantasy VI. Golbit's another Amano artwork. The Crystal Tower. Absolutely stunning. Clive. And last but definitely not least, the first big hit that we had was Go-Go, the Master of Mimicry. So that's going to do it for this iteration of Final Fantasy Fridays. If you guys want to see more of the Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering set, please let me know, either in stream now or light up the comment section after the video goes live or after the video gets uploaded. I definitely want to open more. I definitely want to see what other full arts we can get and some more of these very, very awesome art insert cards. Yeah, just all absolutely beautiful for sure. And then again, we got the one signature card, which is sick. But yeah, after 125 minutes, definitely one of my longer streams in a while. That is going to do it for Final Fantasy Friday, the Magic the Gathering edition. Yeah, again, I'm going to look at the set list. I'm going to check out like TCG Player. Yeah, absolutely insane. So this whole booster box nugget, this had 30 packs in it. Again, the box, obviously, I'm going to keep. This is the play boosters. There are collector boosters, but those are way, way expensive. But this is sick. I'm definitely going to keep this on display. But again, that's going to do it for today's stream. Definitely a long one. I'm going to stand up for a little bit, walk around. I need to look at the set list for sure. But let's give some shout outs real quick. Obviously, Nugget, appreciate you coming by. We have Jay, Alex, appreciate you. Ice T Mix, of course. Roscoe, Hilario, obviously /frag as a whole came through. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need to. I went from sitting at work all day to eating, showering, and then sitting back in a chair again. So, yeah. But yeah, truly appreciate everyone that came through. It was another fun stream. Keep an eye out for Sunday's stream. Again, going to be doing some binder updates. Maybe even show you some stuff I'm going to grade. Might talk about CGC some more, especially because I'm super excited about it, and I am the newest hire there. I'm just so excited, and I'm glad they were like, yeah, it's totally cool to talk about it, because I was going to find a way to talk about one way or another. But yeah, that's going to do it for me, guys. I'm WakoBako. Take it easy.